Hey guys, I'm just going to do a quick nail art tutorial. Very simple. We're going to use the colours from my own collection. So we have Leave Me Alone, which is T01, jet black. You have Illusion, which is T51, that's white. You have a nice yellow here, which is Idyllic, T26, and Granny Smith, which is T52. Now, and these can be bought on my website, www.nailedit.com, naileditettc.com, sorry. Imagine I don't even know my own website name. Anyway, we're going to start off by doing 2 coats of white. On this nail. Obviously, if you were doing this on a client, you would have to have their nails prepared. You want to push back the cuticles, file the natural nail, have it buffed, get rid of the shine, and then you would want to prep and prime the nails before putting on a base coat. And then you would go in then with this colour. So I'm going to cure that for 30 seconds in LED lamp. If you have a UV lamp, it will cure on that too, but you put it in for 2 minutes. Yeah, we go in with the second coat of our Illusion. Pop that in the lamp again for another 30 seconds. And do a little bit of an abstract design with some leaves. Very easy to do, anybody can do it. Yeah, I'm also going to put a matte top coat onto on top of this colour. I obviously didn't wipe that the last time that I used it. We'll get a Milky-way wipe. Solution. And just wipe off that wee bit of a mess I'm after doing there. Anyway, right, here we go again. Yeah, that's far better. Now the reason why I'm putting a matte top coat on here is to protect the colour while we're doing our nail art. And we pop that in to the lamp for 60 seconds or 2 minutes in a UV lamp. Now, what I suggest is that you get yourself a little mixing palette. I use this, which is literally just a canvas. I used the back of it, haven't taken the plastic off yet. I was messing about with some colour earlier on, mixing some glitter in with some builder gel and stuff like that. I haven't wiped it off yet because I want to save it and put it into a little jar so that I can use it on someone. But for now, I'm just going to plop this wee bit of black over here in the corner of my little palette. So we're going to use that for doing the leaf design now in a few minutes. Now, we will get our nail tip, and actually we'll put a little bit of the green and a little bit of the yellow on the palette as well. Just a tiny little drop. You don't need much for what we're going to be doing. Just tiny little bit, as you can see right here. Black, green, yellow. Now bring that in, don't mind the mess like I said. I'm going to get my ombre brush. Make sure you have your ombre brush for this. If not, you can lightly feather it or dab it with your gel brush. So we're going to get a little bit of the green and pop the green here. And okay, do a little bit of green down here too. Wipe that on my lint-free pad. I have some wipe solution on there, so just keep that for wiping your brush. And we're going to put a little bit of the yellow right beside the green, just like that. Now with your ombre brush, what you want to do is drag the colours down just like that. Blend it and go the opposite way around for the other side. I actually learned this technique, this nail art piece actually on a class I did recently online. So I said I would share it with you. Very easy, very simple. Like I said, anyone can do it. So now what we're going to do is pop that into the lamp for 30 seconds. Clean off the brush and then we'll pop that away. You do want to have a fine liner brush now for this next step. You can see how thin that is. So you just want to have a good, fine, thin liner brush. Now, put that out of the way a wee bit. So with the black, actually, I'll let you see what I'm doing with this black here. What you want to do is load up your brush. And twisting the brush into it and dragging it out. Twisting the brush into it and dragging it out. You can see how when I drag it out, it drags out into a fine line. So that's what you want. Now we have our brush loaded. And we want to do some leaf design. Now, you're going to bring this down like that. Now when you're doing art with gel polish, you want to be freeze curing it pretty often so that it doesn't run all over the place. So I'm going to grab another bit and bring it down like this. Now you can see I have the 2 lines done. We're going to freeze cure that now for 10 seconds. Now we're going to do the leaves. Get a little ball, don't know if you can see that there, just a tiny little ball of the black gel on the tip, very tip of your brush. You can see that, tiny little ball. That's all you need. So we're going to start at the bottom here and just place your ball down. We're going to gently work it out and out to a tip, out to a point. Bring your brush down to the bottom of it and bring out another fine line out to a tip on the other side. Now we're going to freeze cure that for another couple of seconds. And we are going to do the other side. And again, just a little ball of the black on your tip, at the tip of your brush. And you want to work that around like that. And bring it out to a point. And drag it down from the opposite side as well. Very fine little point. Now we're freeze curing this again for a couple of seconds. And go on to the next one. Make sure you have a wee ball of black on the end of your brush. And place it down and work it out. And take it out into a point. And bring it around the other side. And we're going to just drag that out a little bit. And freeze cure again. And back over to the opposite side. Place your ball of black down, work it out, and drag it out into a point. And drag that down. And freeze cure again. Now, back over to the opposite side. Now you want your leaves to be getting smaller. So, we'll only be taking a little bit of the gel polish now. And making these leaves very small. There we go, freeze cure that. If you have gel paints, you don't need to freeze cure in between, because the gel paints are good and thick and they'll just stay in the one spot for you. I just wanted to do it with the gel polish just to show you what you can do with my gel polish range. So we will go to the opposite side now, and again just a very small bead of black. I'm wiping the excess off my brush and I'm going to drag it out and drag into the bottom as well, and freeze cure for a couple of seconds. Now we want a very, very, very small one. Wipe off the excess off my brush, and as you can see, it's very, very, very tiny, and we are going to bring it around and drag out to the other side and freeze cure. You only really need to freeze cure for a few seconds in between, just to make sure that the gel polish doesn't move. Tiny little dollop again, and we are going to put that on there and drag it out, and come to the opposite side and drag it out. Freeze cure again. Now for the top, I'm going to do the top one, and this is going to be a small one as well, so just a little bit of black. And the way the leaves are going, the direction is the direction that you want to be putting this final leaf down as well. So we are going to put a wee thing and bring it out, and just like that. Now freeze cure again. So now we're going to do the opposite side. Now, starting at the back, the leaves are bigger, and stretch that out. Bring it around the opposite side, and just like that, and pop that in to be freeze cured again, and go to the opposite side. Now, pop that into the lamp to be freeze cured again, and to the opposite side. So a wee bit more black on my brush. Now we're going to work that out and bring it around to the other side and drag it down. Freeze cure. And back to the opposite side. And drag that out and drag it out on this side. Just want to make that a little bit more of a point. There we go. Pop that into the lamp to be freeze cured for a few seconds and back out. Now we want to put just a small little piece of black. Now we're getting smaller as we get to the end, so we place our black down, work it out and bring it out to a point, and other side, and drag it down. Pop that into the lamp for a few freeze cure, and go to the opposite side. And only a small wee bit of black, work it out and bring to a point and drag out the bottom. Pop in the lamp to be freeze cured. If you were doing this on a client, you'd be working from one hand to the other, so you could easily just, if they had maybe one nail on the hand with this design or two nails on the hand with this design, you would do one little piece, put the hand into the lamp to be cured, and then pop over onto the other hand and do the design on it, and then freeze cure. And while one hand is freeze curing, you can be putting the next wee bit onto the other hand. So it'll be done pretty quick. It's a very quick design. And back in and drag it out and drag out the bottom and pop into the lamp, back out, and the final little touch, the one on the very top, just to be very small, work it out and in the same direction as the leaves are going. Now pop that into the lamp for 30 seconds. Clean off your brush and put it away. Now we're ready for the top coat. You can get your non-wipe top coat on my website. They're all 15ml bottles. Can't even talk right now. But 15ml bottles, so very large, and they only cost $9.99 each as well, which is great value. Now we will go in with, actually, do you know what would be lovely on that there is just a tiny wee bit of silver, which is TO4. So I'm just gonna put just a wee bit, wee bit on there with my ombre brush. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing there, but let's see. Now there's the silver there, just getting the brush kind of worked into it, and then we'll just drag it a little bit of silver right here, and I think we'll just do another wee bit of silver right here. And do another wee bit right here. And another wee bit right there. Just to give it that little bit of extra something. Now we're ready for, oh, actually sorry, we'll have to cure that first before I forget. Now, what I actually meant to say to you was that the great thing about that non-white top coat is that you put the top coat on and there's absolutely no sticky layer whatsoever, so that's you completely done. So it takes an extra few seconds, I suppose, off the service, but it is great. Very handy. Now, and top coat. You can do matte top coat as well if you prefer. It's actually really pretty in matte. I do like shiny. I'll pop that in for 60 seconds in the LED lamp and 2 minutes for UV. There you have it. These are the colours that I've used. Oh, actually, don't forget about the silver that I popped in at the end. That is the non-white top coat. So all these colours are $9.99 each on the website. At www.nailedit.etc.com. Now, girls and guys, that is it.